In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, to whom we all have to turn back. Honorable listeners and respectable audience, you know that we have started a series of linguistics. In linguistics, we have commenced the chapter that is known as translation studies. In translation studies, I told you about Eugene Newdow's of translation theory, equivalence, and also Ketford theory and Scopos theory. I discussed the first part of the Scopus theory as introductory part. Today, I'm going to further extend the theory of the Scopus, and that is the second part. In the second part, I'm going to teach you the rules of Scopus theory. Listeners and audience, there are basically three rules or three principles of Scopus theory. The first rule is related to the rule of purpose. What does it mean? The rule of purpose means that a translation has a purpose. Whenever a translator is translating, converting, or for example transmitting a source text into the target text, he must have purpose behind it. For example, three examples I'm going to provide. If he is translating a manual manuscript or a manual text related to for example medicine, medical text he is going to translate from the source text into the target. So here it is not necessary that he beautify the language. No, the beautification of the language is not necessary. Here the message is important. The message could be conveyed to the target audience as much as clear and understandable. One example. Second example of the rule of purpose is, for example, you're translating an advertisement. In advertisement language, it must be attractive, persuasive, so much so that convince other people. Now, even if some original message, and the original message, if some addition is made, it's no problem, because this is the purpose of advertisement, to attract and persuade the people and the customers. However, if you're talking about the legal text, the court documents, then the translator must be connected and restricted to the original message, the literal translation, and he should also take care the structure of the language. Whenever we are talking about coherence rule says that the message of the translator in the target text from the source text must be understandable, comprehensible, and also clear. There will be natural flow for the target language audience. If the message does not meet the requirements of the target listener audience, it means the message is not clear and it has not been translated in a well-method way. For example, I have written an example. You see, if I say press the ignition switch to start the engine, press the ignition switch to start the engine. If I am translating it literally, now the translation, literal translation is, for example, आग का बटन दबाओ या आग जलाओ, for example. So now here it does not give us a clear sense, but the real meaning The sense per sense translation is that इंजन का बटन दबाकर स्टार्ट करो इंजन, या इंजन स्टार्ट कर बटन दबाकर इंजन स्टार्ट करो। लेकिन अगर मैं कहता हूं कि बटन दबाकर आग स्टार्ट करो, it does not have any sense. So that's why the purpose of the second rule, coherence rule, is that the message must be clear for the target audience. This is the main message. And the last one is fidelity rule. Fidelity rule means the rule of faithfulness. Now, the intended message must be conveyed. Whatever message the source text has, it must be in the original text. The same message will be there. However, it's not necessary according to this theory. If the message is conveyed in a better way in literal translation, fine. If it is not translated and not conveyed in a literal translation, it should be a sense for sense translation. Hope that this topic is clear to you. Thank you.